Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I miss your
I
face.
miss your face too. I'm so excited about this.
I'm very excited about this. This is fun. This is different for me, and it's not what I usually talk about, but still something that I can talk about.
Mhm. Absolutely. I love it. All right. The streaming to Facebook is just a matter of like knowing which permissions to allow inside Facebook. Like you activate it in Zoom and then activate it in Facebook. I activated it in Zoom, yes, or whatever day that was, Wednesday, whatever day. I don't know. What day is it today?
Don't know.
And then it didn't work. And so Elisa talked me through like there's two like things that you have to do.
You have
And
to give it on both sides. I'll go
yeah,
in. I'll go in and figure it out. I'm sure
yeah,
there's
it's
some.
let me know if you have any issues. It's pretty simple. So I'm going to have to let you share your screen, right? And then
Mhm.
okay. So let's go pop into the group. I'll get my phone ready so I can see comments. And then we'll let you share and we'll be golden. Do do do. All right. Ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Whoop, whoop. Stream live on Facebook. Do 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 do. Every time you go in, you have to tell it where you want to go. And it always suggests a group that's not my group. So that's
Like, why is
interesting.
this the thing? It's not my group.
I know, like I can't go live in that group. Someone will kill me.
But that would be bad.
All right. Setting up our meeting. Scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. All right. I think we are in. Oh, can I give you the option though, still of sharing your screen? That is a good question. There we go. Got it. All right. So if you guys can see us, hopefully you can. I'm going to try to find us so I can see that you can see us.
All right.
I am here. I'm Tracey. If anybody is brand new and doesn't know, and there's a ton of you that are brand new, so welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Tracey Lewis Stokel. I am a digital product strategist and online course coach that helps high integrity and overwhelmed entrepreneurs transition from being overwhelmed and locked into one-to-one work to creating digital products and having true time freedom. And I am joined today, I am so excited by my friend, Jess Scotten, who is a Kartra expert and digital marketing maven, a certified master marketer, if we're going to be specific. And she is going to talk to you guys today all about course platforms and some of the things that you just kind of need to keep in mind when choosing a platform. I'll give my spoiler alert at the end. If you've never heard me do it, I'll save it till the end. But in the meantime, let's talk platforms and what works and what we should be doing and all of the things. Jess, I'm going to give you permission, I think, to share your screen, not share my screen, but you share your screen. And I think we're good.
Awesome. So what Tracey asked me to come and join and jump in and talk about platforms is not a discussion on what platform you should be choosing, because while I work primarily in one platform, I want to talk about things that you should consider when you're looking at all of the platforms. So this is not a pitch. This is not a you should go with this one or that one. And when I put this together, I started with a whole like compare and contrast, like which one does this and which one does that. And I'm like, well, this isn't what anybody wants to hear. And what it got me to was some things that not everyone is saying that you should be looking at when you're deciding between a platform. So let me go ahead and see if I can do this and not lose myself. Tracey, did you have any initial questions before we jump in?
I don't think we do. I'm just asking everyone to tell me their questions. Let me just look back and make sure that nobody asked anything before we got started. Actually, probably you want to just keep going and then I'll
Yeah.
We can address questions at the end too.
Okay, cool. Does that show on my share screen?
Yes.
All right. All right, like Tracey said, I'm Jessica Scotten. I am a certified master marketer as well as an expert in the Kartra platform. I went to the University of Central Florida. I love absolutely anything that can be automated to make your lives any bit smarter than they already are. I love a great bourbon, an amazing road trip, and a great cup of coffee. And Tracey and I have had quite a few cups of coffee situations. But what I want to talk about is things to consider when you're deciding between a course, a platform. And the truth is that you've got 99 options when it comes to them. And I've counted from Kartra to Funnel Gorgeous to Teachable to Thinkific to Kajabi, ClickFunnels, Podia. As I'm saying this, I'm already feeling overwhelmed between all of them. And I haven't even gotten to the half of them. And that is not the right button. Go away. Click up. All right. So first thing I want you to consider is yourself and your audience. I know this is a project that Tracey's done with you, is who is your human? This matters in what you're deciding on. Is it something they can easily navigate? A platform and a program and a course designed for a 20-something has a completely different user experience than something designed for 60-somethings. They have a very different level of engagement and technology that brings everything in. One of the cool things, and I want to talk about when you're coming to considering your audience, is I helped a woman with a program, with a course about teaching piano to little kids. Tracey, did I tell you about this? About this? It's one of my favorite stories. So the program is set to be done with little kids. And when you teach little kids, you're going to give them an iPad to go sit at the piano and watch her hands on the keyboard. And it's a really cool thing. Except what kind of iPad does your child have? The first generation iPad that you've kicked off as cast-offs that can't have operating system updates anymore. So while the program was sold to adults, the audience was actually kids using older generation iPads, and we kept running into tech issues because we didn't pick the right platform that ran on older generation iPad. So something to consider. And when you're considering your audience, think about yourself too. Does the software make sense? Is it something that you can use on your own, or is it something you might need to hire somebody else to do for you? Is it something that you enjoy working on the back end on the tech side? Consider brand customizations along the way. Can this be customized to you and your brand? Can you bring in custom fonts? Can you bring in custom colors? So you have to do everything through a JPEG or a PNG that you made in Canva and then imported in. Brand consistency across the board reinforces your credibility and your brand and makes you more memorable in the long run. I love this one. Consider the automation side of things. Can this course be done from sale to checkout to access to everything that they need? Can it be completely automated? Do you need to do anything to make this course become a reality for people? Basically, can this course be sold and can you make money while you're sitting on a beach with a margarita? Right? That's really what the question is there. There is nothing better than getting a notification while you have a margarita in your hand that you've just made a sale. Consider the analytics that the program gives you, ones that help you determine what is working and what is not working in your course. Can you determine what your completion rate is? Can you determine where people get stuck? Can you tell where your students are in the progression of the program? And then consider again automations about how you can retarget people after they've completed the program, maybe into whatever your next step is in your customer journey. Consider interaction. People absolutely love engaging with content that they're buying. Do you have surveys, quizzes? Are there tests involved that people can take to test their knowledge as they're progressing through things? Do you have space for comments? Do you respond to comments? Are you paying attention to what's happening in a program that you built? Is there a community? Communities come in all different shapes and sizes. Some platforms include a community platform, some don't. A lot of places rely on something as fabulous as a Facebook group to support their community. I'm seeing Slack grow in popularity, as well as Voxer and Discord and all of the other things. Do you reward people through their progress? Do you have an implementation set up for that? And then can you gamify this to make it more interactive for people as they go through the course? Is there a leaderboard? Would that be fun? Would your people enjoy that? I am a hugely competitive person. I would only want to be at the top of the leaderboard, and I think a lot of people think the same way. Mm-hmm. Consider cost. Does this fit in your budget? How many new students per month do you need to sell to break even? What about profit? Does it cover all of your costs? Is this an achievable goal? When we talk about costs, don't forget about what you spend if you spend on ad spend to get those sales. And then take it for a test drive. I love taking things out for a test drive. Many of these platforms offer a free or $1 14-day trial. And if they don't, you could sign up for a monthly plan to determine if this is something that fits your brain and your teaching style, as well as your learning style along the way. Have you talked to anybody that's taken a course on this platform? Have you taken a course on this platform? What did you like? What did you not like? Think about how there is help available if you get stuck. What does support look like? Is there a 24/7 chat that you can speak to a real human? Do you have to submit a tech ticket and wait 24 plus hours to hear back from someone? Do they do live tech calls where you can just jump in on a Zoom and have a conversation with someone? Do you need to hire someone to do this for you, or can you handle this on your own? And then my bonus tips. Once you've decided on something, they're kind of like reward points, whether it's airline or hotel or rental cars. Once you make a decision, stay with it. Building out a course is a massive labor of love. And then moving it is an entirely redo of that labor of love that you've already put out. So if you make a commitment to something, that's where you want to stay. My ABCs of building are always back up your content. Have a duplicate copy of everything you do, whether it's a post or a video or an audio file or a downloadable worksheet. Have it live somewhere other than the platform that you built it in. And then show up in Facebook groups. They have been so powerful for me, for people that I've connected with along the way, whether they're the official Facebook groups, whether they're unofficial Facebook groups, and make friends with people who are working through the same platform as you are. There's a ton of gold in those Facebook groups. And that's what I have for you today. And then there's my hi, hello.
Yes. So Jessica, explain hi, hello for anyone who hasn't heard of it.
Okay, hi, hello is a digital business card that you basically scan the QR code and all of my or whoever's information shows right up on your phone. So my hi, hello is programmed to my business. You'll get my email address, my website, my Facebook group, all of that stuff. But going back to in-person conversations and in-person meetings, this was one of the highlights of the trip.
So fun. All right. So you guys have the ability to rewatch the video, pause that if you need to get to scan her hi, hello. I want to just dive in really quick to a couple things that just jumped out at me from Jess's presentation. And just kind of tie this into some of the things that we talk about. You totally sang the songs of my people. So the first thing, brand consistency was the first thing, obviously, that you covered that really jumped out. It is so important that your course not look like something else other than what you do in your business. And like, so like Jess says, if you have the ability to customize colors, things like that, that's a huge plus. A lot of platforms don't have that. You can throw a logo on every page and that makes it look like you. And so then you're looking at like, branding your slide deck, things like that to, really kind of tie it together and make it look like your personality. I think the onus is on the course creator too, if you aren't in a platform to be customizable, to really make sure that you're showing up really genuinely. It's one of the things I talk about all the time is not having a performer voice when you go in your videos, like, well, hello, here we are. And it just doesn't sound anything like you conversationally. So that's a huge one.
And there's a couple really good workarounds there that can work in all platforms. If you're doing video, put a video cover on every single video that you're doing. Don't be the one that shows up in like a face. And that's the screen capture that Facebook will capture for this presentation.
Always the one.
But you can throw up into Canva or into Photoshop or into whatever you're doing, like headers or things, and put them into images. The downside with doing that is it's not crawlable and it's not searchable content. So it's a workaround, but it's not really the best workaround.
Awesome. Awesome advice. The other thing is talking about rewards. And I mean, there's a huge push right now. There's one course guru that is making all sorts of kind of money off of the gamification and the dopamine boost that you get from completing something, and you hear a little cha-ching or whatever at the end of it. I teach, it's probably, if you've never heard me speak, or if you've heard me speak for 5 seconds, my thing is always give them wins, give them early, give them often. So you want to make sure that your people, when they're going through their course, that they're getting some little dopamine push, whether that's just clicking the complete button, whether that's being able to see their own progress, whether that's, like just you saying, hey, congratulations. I'm reviewing a course for a client right now, and she tells me at the end of every module how proud she is of me. And it makes me so happy. And just that little bit is so, so helpful. And, there are some course platforms that really make that, like Jess was talking about, the leaderboard, really make that a thing. So you can actually see like how you rate up against all the other people who are in the course, which is super, super fun. And then there are some, and especially there's more coming on the market that are really making it even more of a game, like even more things. I love the idea of saying, hey, if you complete to this part, here's an incentive. I'm going to give you a free call with me, or the special download that you only get because you've gotten this far. And that's super motivating, which brings us back to completion rates. So, and Jess was talking about, can you see where people are getting stuck, and can you see what their completion rate is? And what I would just want to say about this really quick is how important this is. So if you don't understand what that means, it just basically, look, most platforms now have the way, and you just probably can explain this better than I can, where you can just kind of take a look at all the members in your program and see where they're at. And so you can see that, like, well, it looks like a lot of people get all the way to here and then they quit, or it looks like, my people are only getting 28% of the way through. And knowing this is really important, and it comes back to the other thing that I talk about, which is making sure you're getting a transformation. People who don't finish courses, don't say nice things about them. And so we're not here, contrary to what everybody believes, we're not here to get rich quick and sell a course and then, go sit on the beach with the money we made. If your people aren't getting through your program, they're not saying nice things about you. And then they're not becoming raving fans who come back to you wanting more and 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 more what you offer.
And I'm going to jump in right there.
Yeah.
Like you gave the example of, if you're starting to see trends that only 28 people only complete it to 28%, does your course need to be broken into thirds?
Mm-hmm.
is this now, instead of one huge course, can you scale this down and do like a beginner level, an intermediate level, and an advanced level, and take that 28% completion rate and say, if it was a third, that'd be like a 95% completion rate. Do you know how motivating it is to be, I'm 95% completed, then I'm 28% completed?
Mhm. Yes, absolutely. And the biggest part of that is to, and she's, talking about being engaging, like how are you helping them show up? Is there some accountability? Are there calls that they need to show up for? And all of those things just sort of help people get through that path to completing. And they don't just, the thing to remember is, and I have people ask me this, well, why do I care if they finish it if they've already paid me? And when people say that, I say, you're probably in the wrong group because I'm probably not your person. But the end result is you have to get them the transformation you promise. And if you don't do that, they're not going to remember you in a positive way. I can't tell you how many courses I've bought that like something happens in like the first couple modules or lessons, and I'm like, I'm not going to finish this anymore. You need to be able to identify what those things are. If you have a course that people aren't finishing, I'm happy to take a look at it and tell you what is stopping them at that point, because that's sort of my zone of genius. But so important that you can measure those things.
And
It's
there's
kind of
so much.
like people talk about, like measuring your profit. And I was like, I don't know how much money I make. These things are important that we know.
Things are absolutely important. And one of the things that we're starting to see a lot more of, to the gamification note, is at the end of 3 modules, we're putting a survey in. What did you learn? And it's not so much the survey that we're looking for. We're looking for that someone completed it, because on the other end, I'm looking for the automation that waits until 10 a.m. the next day, 10:02 the next day, and we can jump in and say, hey, I saw that you completed your survey. I'm reviewing all of your answers. Thank you so much for giving this back. These things are all automated on the front side, but we are looking at every person's answer that comes through, because in those little surveys, what did you learn? What would you like to see done differently? Those are huge gems of value. And if someone on the other side sees, oh, she read my answers,
Mm-hmm.
they're so much more invested on the other side, and follow it up with something meaningful from you.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And I could totally go down a rabbit hole with this too and say that, if you're really just getting started with, especially if you're just really getting started in your business with sort of your topic, and you're not really sure what it is that your audience really wants from you, surveys are one of the greatest ways to find that out. And it's as easy as saying at the beginning of your lesson, having a survey saying, what are you hoping to learn in this lesson? And have them just, like tell you what it is they want to learn. Chances are it's not what you think they want to learn, or it's not what they actually need to learn. And you kind of take that and kind of figure out, how to create going forward. But then at the end saying, did you learn what you needed from this? Do you have the tools that you need to go forward? And being really vulnerable and open to reading those responses and saying, oh crap, I totally missed the mark. Now I have to go back and redo this because, 90% of my surveys are saying they didn't get this, this transformation. It's so important.
And where we start with things that we think are basic are really high bar things. So a lot of times, I know you talk about this, is that we have to bring it down to a basic level. I'm teaching myself to crochet. I can't start with how to crochet. I need to start with the thingies that I don't know what they're called.
Needles.
The yarn, the needles, the yarn, the gauge of the yarn, how all of those things, because if I started with how to do the loopy things, again, I don't know what they're called, I would never get here.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. If you don't know where somebody's starting, you can't give them directions. So if Jess is coming from Florida and I want her to come see me in Minnesota, if I didn't know she was in Florida, I couldn't tell her how to get here. It's not just, drive until you arrive. So we can't get them to where we want them to go if we don't know where they're starting.
And I
The other thing that you said,
I use the same reverse analogy. If I don't know where I'm going, I can't help you get here.
You're coming to Minnesota. That's what's happening.
I know.
And the other part that I think is just so important to consider is that cost piece. And you talked about that and all of the pieces, which is so helpful. And I'll just mention, being really aware of where help comes from if you need it, being really aware of your own technical skill. And I'll be like completely vulnerable here and just say, I have been in either with a client or for myself, been in just about every platform out there. I've rebuilt my initial Create the Course Your Audience Craves course a billion times. So I know exactly how time intensive and awful that is to keep moving and how unsettling it is. I'm the most indecisive person. And I kept thinking that there was something better, something better, something better. And I'll give the spoiler alert here in a minute. But I also felt like I had to buy the most expensive platform so that it had everything I need. So Jess, can you talk just for a minute about how to not necessarily buy the most expensive platform, still get what you need, how you can automate those things, and just sort of like a real high level, like don't necessarily buy the most expensive thing and think that expensive is better.
Don't necessarily buy the most expensive thing and think that it's better. Sure. And pair that along with, what do you already have? What do you not need duplicates of? And what does most of the platforms that I rattled off in the beginning do lots and lots of things for you. And most of the time you won't need them to do everything, but you need them to do what you want them to do. And you also want them to be able to communicate with what you need them to communicate with.
Mm-hmm.
Most of these platforms, I can't speak for all of them because I haven't been in all of them. I admire your bravery to get into all of them. They usually come with some brain fried scrambled eggs. Most of them include email marketing that goes out to the people who are engaged in it. Most of them include a payment center. Those would be, do you need it to do web pages? Probably not. You probably have that under control somewhere else. What I would look for is, can I automate all of this inside one program? One of the things I go back to all the time is, if you're running your programs and you're keeping them held together with Zapier, it is literally holding everything together with duct tape.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just waiting for a leak. Zapier is great to move information back and forth between one and the other, but if you're running your website on WordPress and you're taking payment through Samcart and you're using MemberSpace for your program, and then you're using ActiveCampaign for your emails, real life example, you're probably going to have some disconnect between all of them. Mm-hmm. So I'll go back to where my expertise lies in Kartra. I can run my payments, my membership, and all the emails related to selling the membership and getting people into the program. I'm sorry, membership is their word for courses. It's kind of confusing, so I use them interchangeably, but that's the space for them. It's all housed together. So everything that's connected to that membership comes from one housing. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's all under the same roof, right?
Under the same roof, yes.
Yeah.
Now you can do different things in other platforms. Like for me, I have things that run in Kartra. I have decided to not use their booking calendar, and I use Acuity for my calendar. Those things don't natively speak to each other, and I've decided that I am fine with that. My calendar doesn't need to speak to Kartra, but I could if I used Zapier to move them back and forth, but I choose not to. They don't connect. Did I answer your question? Did I go off on a side road?
No, I think you answered it perfectly. And the whole the one thing that you said too that I think is so valuable to consider is, how many seats do you need to fill in your program in order to pay for that platform every month? And I jumped right in. I came off of, I don't know, Thinkific's free program, and I think I went deep into Kajabi, like I'm going to have a membership and I'm going to have this, I'm going to have that. And so I need this big thing. And then realized that the first two programs that I sold every month, like that profit was just going to go to paying for my platform. And is that what I really wanted? And then very quickly moved over and did the free program in Member Vault for a very long time because it was free and I got all of my profit. And I think that's, something really to consider. And and you said too, where help comes from. I decided that I was going to jump on the FG Funnels bandwagon. And there are things about it I love. I love how intuitive the membership portal is, but I'm not a tech person. And if I had, and I'm committed now, I'm in, but if I had to do it over again, I would think twice about getting into something that has so much of a technical aspect for somebody like me who's not as technical. So that's also something really to consider.
Sure. And we can sit here and say pro and con behind them, but I love that Andy and Nuno and FG Funnels show up live in Facebook 6 days a week on a Zoom where you can speak to a human. You have to show up when they're live. I love that about FG Funnels. I absolutely love it. Kartra, I'm in a lot. It's submit a ticket. Most tickets are 24 hours plus on response time. Can you wait that long?
Right.
What happens if you need support during a launch? I mean, you can say that for both platforms. What if you have a launch starting on Monday and there's no tech call until 5 p.m. on Tuesday?
Right.
There's every single platform is you're going to be able to pro and con. But what I want you to take out of this is that there are lots of options out there for you, and it's deciding on the best one that fits. There are programs out there for free. Remember, if it's free, you're the product. But also if it's free, there's usually, Tracey, correct me if I'm wrong here, there's usually an additional processing fee to every payment that you take. So they might charge 5% on top of your Stripe 2.9 plus 30%. So now you're running about a 7% cost just to get that person in.
Yep. Yeah, there's trade-offs. Absolutely. And maybe it's worth your while to not pay monthly because you don't know how many people you're going to get in and just pay a percentage of sales. And maybe it's better for you. And that's something when we talk about, like your KPI and really being conscious of where your learners are in your course, but also really being conscious of where is my break even here? What am I trying to achieve? And being really clear on those goals. Because it's at some point, right, it's going to be cheaper to pay the $49 a month or $79 or $99 than it is to pay the 5 or 7% or whatever it is they want.
Depends on how many people you run in. And then you're saying, okay, if I did 10 people this month at $100, okay, now I'm able to pay for the monthly, but you need to keep that up consistently so you're not running a negative. I want everyone I work with, the builds that I do, I want my cost recouped in the first launch. And then it just becomes a generating machine. In the same sense, I want you to very easily be able to make the $100, $200, $300, $50 a month that the platform is making. I want you to make that without even a hesitation.
Right. Absolutely. One other thing I think, and we've kind of talked about this, but I just want to revisit, is the where you get help when you're in trouble thing. A lot of my clients are like, well, I want to build my course in my WordPress site. I'm going to use LearnDash or MemberPress or whatever. And that just, there is no right answer. And here's the spoiler alert. It does not matter where you host your course. What matters is that you do it, that you commit to it, that you commit to getting results. There it is, the spoiler alert. But again, if you are not technically savvy, if you don't have the time or the energy to test, retest, make sure you're constantly testing, I would shy away from those platforms that don't have service built in, if your person can't log in the middle of the night because when they want to consume your content and they're having to message you to get them in, that's a very different thing than using an automated, I forgot my password, system that a lot of the platforms do have. Yeah. So just, being really careful about making sure you know what you're getting into and that you, that you're good with whatever that looks like.
And everything's going to bring up some kind of memory. We struggle with that with clients all the time. My password doesn't work. So what are we doing on our client emails? We're saying, copy and paste the password exactly as shown above. That's 99% of the problem. It's
Right.
right there. Can you edit those messages to make them reflect what you need them to say? That goes back to knowing the platform and knowing its capabilities.
Mhm.
Are we able to adjust things on the fly? Are we able to see that there's a problem? Can you, and this is with knowing your clients and being able to meet your clients where they are, I've had asked people, here's what I need you to do. Everything's built. Please use Loom or Zoom, share your screen, and walk through from purchase to login and show people exactly what they need to do. I'll write the script for you. I'll show you. Here's a demo of exactly what you need to do. Does that video help?
Mhm.
Most of the time it does.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and I think my final thing, in your side, like do the free trials. And I am a firm proponent. I've bought into platforms, or I've worked in platforms that my clients building a course in Kartra, Kajabi, Podia, you name it. And I get in there and it doesn't work for my brain, whatever that might be. And we're all different. And it could be the most simple thing. Like I have a client who has built out a huge membership and mastermind program in Kartra. It's fantastic. And she loves everything about Kartra and what it does. When I'm in there and I'm trying to help her with things, it's here for me.
It is a very different style program. It just clicked from my brain. I don't know how.
Yep. And it's just the opposite of clicking in my brain. Like it just click, 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 and nothing happens. But so that there's a whole lot to be said to have a video, an intro, outro, that you are playing with. Go in, do your free trial, set up your little course, try to sign up for it, see how it works for you, see how it works in your brain. And don't be afraid to be like, this is harder than I feel like it needs to be. I'm going to try another one. And if you go back, super, like that's the benefit of the 30-day free trial, is that you can kind of figure out what you want to do. But then once you find one that feels right and that does the things you need it to do, stay there. Do not get obsessed with every shiny object that comes out. Like they're literally like, I mean, you're just saying that there's 99. I know, because I counted. It feels like there's a new one every day.
There's
Like
going to be a new one every day.
Every day there's some sort of new platform, something new and shiny that's going to distract you.
Yeah, you're going to see an AppSumo deal. Don't do it.
I love AppSumo deals.
Damn it. But you know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying. Make a commitment to something, stick with it. If you want to change platforms, please make sure you do all of the research. It's a ton of labor. I have moved people from one to the other, to the other, to the other, to the other. I'm like, this is crazy at this point. How many times you've been moved? Because it's not only your course that needs to be moved. It's any automations, it's any emails, it's any pages. Also, please remember, once you close that account and the other one, everything is gone. Go back to the ABCs, always back up your content.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I love this conversation. And Jess, I know you're a member of the group, so I know that you will be watching the comments. We've got a couple folks like just good info. Thank you for this. With that little, somebody gave you a rose. Very cute. So if you guys have questions, when you're popping back in here, hashtag replay, make sure that you're posting your questions for Jess. She'll answer, or I will answer, or we will both answer. But remember, bottom line here is don't bite off more than you can chew in your platform. I think these are the big takeaways here. And once you get in there, stick with it, make it work for you, and make sure that you are able to guarantee that your people are getting the results you promise. Any last minute tidbit takeaway, Jess?
Keep on doing amazing things. You can do hard things. Yes. You've got this. Like, this is, and the last 2 years we've really seen this. I know you talk about this. We've had a massive shift in online learning. I am so excited about this. I've been working in this industry for like 5 or 6 years now. This is the shift, this is the silver lining of the last 2 years, that now we're able to do these things and run online programs and really reach so many more people with something that's accepted that might have been not as forefront of mind as thought before. So keep doing the hard work, keep doing the good work, and keep on showing up for your audience.
Yes. If there's a theme for this year for me, that is it. Just
Show up.
Show the F up and just do it. Do it.
It's your group. I didn't want to swear in your group.
Yeah. Swearing is acceptable in my group, but showing up and doing it dirty if you have to, and that's the other thing about platforms, right? It doesn't matter, because as long as you're creating it, it's going to be good. And as long as your intention is right and you care about your learner, things are going to go the way you want them to. And I'll just say, I've said this a million times, the best course I have ever taken was dripped via email over 12 weeks. It was literally an email a week with some little learning, a video to watch, some action steps, the easiest thing in the world to set up and implement. And I mean, I didn't need
chill bumps, lady, chill bumps, because you can do that in MailChimp.
Yes.
In MailerLite, in any email platform you want to do, you can do that. It doesn't have to be done in this $100 a month program.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I paid $97 for this program, and it was incredible. I got the transformation. It was amazing. And I've paid $3,000+ to be a part of really high production courses like B School, like Amy Porterfield's program.
We'll have to have a discussion about the B School later.
Yeah. Yes, let's. They're very, very well done, and everything's done perfectly, and it's so beautiful. And I feel like we all compare ourselves to that, which is the wrong thing to do. But I didn't get anything from some of those programs that are like high, so it doesn't matter. And what matters is that you show up, that you know what you're talking about, and that you know where you want them to get to. And I can help you with all that stuff.
I do have one more, and then I'm going to stop talking. I can't tell you how many calls and discovery calls I do with people who show me things not like the B School, but are other very, very, very high level content creators. I don't remember their names, but they show me these big, huge, beautifully built out programs. And I look at them and I say, that's custom. Mm-hmm. That's a custom platform. And that will cost you tens of thousands of dollars to build out, not to mention what you need to pay the developer who built it out to stay on your team on a monthly basis. You don't need that.
No, and you don't need
running a multi-million-dollar business. Do you need something built out custom like that? Doing this on any of these other platforms or email is completely acceptable.
Yeah, and your videos don't have to have 2 camera angles. Like like some of these literally, and I mean, B School is a perfect example of that. I know Marisa Murgatroyd, I'm just going to drop names here. Her Experienceify, whatever your courses program is the same way. She's looking here and then she's looking over there, and she's got camera people. Like you don't, I mean, I won't say you can't afford them. You don't want to afford camera people.
You don't need that. It almost makes your money into other things. Less real. Mm-hmm. You don't need a production studio. You don't need a camera crew. You don't need a rental property to film these things. Like, this is my office in my house. In my house. You don't need those things. Do you need a masterclass style setting or something that's as advanced as a Creative Live? You don't.
No.
Half the time in what I teach is halfway screen shared anyways, and I do a really great job of cutting my face off here, so all you see is my mouth moving on the video.
Well,
But you can do those things.
Yeah.
You don't need to.
Right. Yeah. And again, we'll just bring this all the way full circle back to knowing who your audience is. And I think in a lot of ways, we alienate our audiences by trying to be too perfect, and that you are much more likely to help them learn something if you're relatable and they see themselves in you and they can connect with you in that way. And so again, the number one most important thing is knowing who you serve.
I will pass on the same permission that was given to me and Tracey about 1 month ago. Show up as you are. I give you permission to show up as you are. This hair, this lack of makeup, and standing in yoga pants. Show up as you are.
Absolutely.
And it's okay. And your audience will love you so much for it.
I think that's a great place for us to stop. Again, if you guys have any questions, pop them into the chat and we will circle back and make sure that we answer them. Thank you so much, Jess, for joining us today. I heart your face, and we will talk to you again soon.
Talk to you soon. Have a great day.
All right, live stream has stopped. At least it says it has. Woo, woo. So what are your questions about B-School?
I think I got it from your tone of voice.
I don't, I mean, I probably shouldn't be that way, but I invested in B-School, not needing, like, I mean, I've been running a business of one form or another for the last 30 years. So it's not like I needed it, but it was the be all end all course. It was the most beautifully well-produced course. And I wanted to see what it was. Mm-hmm. And I was so underwhelmed. And, I have a book back here somewhere that has all of there's things she does well. And of course she does them well because she's got a massive team of people that do it. Yeah. Like the workbooks and all that stuff. There's a ton of information in there, but it's not well curated so that, and it's just like Julie said, the more you can strip away, the more valuable it is. So they give you just boom, boom, here's all of these things you can read and do, but no actual action steps. So, at the end of a lesson, it's not do these 3 things before you move on to the next one, or, here's how to do this. I don't know. To me, it felt like frosting, like it was just like the whole thing was just sort of paved out. Yeah. No actual substance. Level. Yeah, exactly. And that was super disappointing. My thing with Amy Porterfield is that first of all, I can't listen to her talk, but some
of her older stuff is really good and it's really valuable, but the new current stuff, she's gotten too big.
Yeah. Well, and I think she just is trying to do too many things. Mm-hmm. It's your marketing made simple, your how to build an email list, your how to create courses and digital products, your how to do this other thing. And really, like, she learned everything she knows from being on Tony Robbins's team, which is whatever. But like, I don't know. I have the entire transcript from her original Courses That Convert course. And I consumed it initially on paper, just went through and read the transcripts. The number of times she says certain phrases makes me insane. So the first 4 lessons, it's the rabbit hole. And she's like, we'll go down don't go down this rabbit hole. And I'm going to go down this rabbit hole. And there's that rabbit hole. And I'm like, oh my God, every other paragraph I've highlighted rabbit hole.
Yeah. Now you're starting to count how many times they say and rabbit hole.
Yes. And she's like, well, you don't have to know how to teach. I'll teach you how to teach. And nowhere in there does she actually
she teach you how to teach.
Actually teach you how to present or how to set up slides. Okay. And then giving you sample slide decks. So everybody in the world would have one of these 3 slide decks, according to Amy Porterfield. And I met her. She's a lovely human being, mm-hmm. but I've had clients come to me and say, I would love to work with you, but I just spent $3,000 on Amy Porterfield's thing and didn't get any results. And now I don't have any money. And then that pisses me off.
Yeah.
So there it is.
I have resolved that. My bookkeeper or my accountant got to yell at me last week. She goes, what did you spend $5,000 on? I'm like, the only education I'm allowed to spend for the entire year.
Well, plus $97 for the bundle.
Plus 97
for the Ukraine bundle.
Oh, well, I'm going to count that as a donation.
All right, perfect.
Even though I'm not going to get a donation receipt for it. I couldn't not buy that. And I know at least one other person that I sent it to that bought it.
Yay. Last I heard from Elisa, we're almost to $40,000. So we're going to hit that 50,000 by Sunday. I feel it.
Absolutely. When is she taking the sale off? On the 1st?
I think it's midnight on Sunday. So it's this weekend. because it was for 2 full
And
weeks.
then you have to take all of your the freebies, or not the freebies, but all the accesses go away on the first.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to get all enrolled in everything that you want before then, which is like a job in and of itself.
Yeah, but the girl I sent it to, she's like, "Oh, I just did this $2,500 like set up your agency thing," and I'm like, "Audrey, I love you, and I would love to do it with you." I'm like, "I am spending no more money this year on education." She goes, "Oh, it's okay, I'll share it with you." I'm like, "Just know that like I read Julie and Kathy's contract that I cannot share. I can do the exercises with you. So if you want to do a mindset exercise with me, but I can't share any of that stuff with you."
Yeah. I really struggle with that whole, like sharing content, because my biz bestie is always like, "Oh, here, I'll give you access to whatever." And she actually, I work with Naza Shaveria. I don't know if you know who she is,
I don't
but
know who that is.
I got 3 months left. I almost didn't do True North because I still had 3 months left with Naz, or 2 months left with Naz. Her thing is all around messaging and creating bingeable authority with a signature framework and whatever. It's exactly what I needed. And my friend Carissa had shared her entire program with me like a year and a half ago when she was working with her.
Yeah.
And I was going through and just looking at videos and stuff, but felt so tremendously guilty for getting, for getting results. And what it did do was convince me that I wanted to work with her and pay the, $7,000 to actually do that. But I always felt bad about that. But when my friend who had paid for Amy Porterfield's course said, "Here, I'll let you in," I did not feel bad about that. It wasn't like I was consuming it for my own purposes or anything like that, other than,
yeah, I think it's a different, like difference in scale too. Like if this, like I worked shortly with a woman who had an $8,000 program, and it was a copywriting program, and it was tremendously expensive. And she was completely convinced that it would sell hands off. Like she's convinced that somebody's going to watch a webinar and then drop $8,000. I'm like, this is never, ever going to convert. You have to show up, not your assistant, not your sales team. You, because you don't show up live in any of their trainings. I'm like, also, this is twice as expensive as it should be.
That's a B school too, and one of the things that I mean, you can say they're doing it right, but they have coaches within B school so that like at the end of every lesson or whatever, there's someone to interact with, but it's never Marie, and they're like, they have their own businesses and their own rights, so it's not like they're even really just devoted to B school. They're just coaches and whatever. So I don't know. I totally agree though. You have to show up. There has to be, if you want high ticket, there has to be some of you that they get. And that's a hard.
Even if it's, dude, honestly, even if it's like Julie and Kathy showing up in our True North monthly calls, they're showing up. Yep. They're showing up live. It's not a recording. I'm actually very grateful that the content in True North is almost entirely recorded.
Yeah. And the other thing is, the amount that Julie shows up in that Slack channel.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm like, and I just saw something the other day because I'm trying to keep up with like all the comments, just like, so I don't feel like I'm missing anything. And like somebody asked something yesterday and Julie tagged Kathy. And I was like, that's amazing. Like
it was, I saw it. It was a branding question. And then Lisa Chapman feeling like incredibly overwhelmed with everything already. And then Julie telling her, here's the thing. I blocked my calendar. I did the things. I did the calendar workshop. I blocked my calendar. I have had 0 discovery calls since I blocked my calendar. That's a big problem. I usually do 3 a week.
Ruh-roh.
I've had to take those blocks off my calendar.
Yeah.
I moved my acuity to 36 hours in advance instead of 12 hours in advance. No calls. That's because I have no availability.
Yeah.
People who are looking for help are looking for help now.
Right.
I don't do day of calls. I never will. The next available is Monday. Unless I'm feeling really nice and you want to pay, then I'll do a Saturday call with you.
Right.
But I've had no discovery calls since I got home from. I had no discovery calls since I got home. I'd have to go back and look at the calendar. Very, very few.
And you think it's because you block too much of your calendar that there's
100%.
not availability.
Because if you go through and you go look through, like, I know exactly what people do. They go expert calendar, expert calendar, expert calendar. Okay, she's got tomorrow. I'll take it. She doesn't have till next week. Skip.
Right.
And they never come back.
Interesting. Yeah, for me, it's been
So what I can do is I also have to have time on my calendar for Southern Hemisphere. So like I have like a 7 to 9 o'clock block 2 days a week, so I can fit in Australia and New Zealand. But I have to. So my blocks have turned into something very different. Like calls don't start until 11 and they end at 3.
See, and I have a different strategy too about like sacred time, because like I map mine all out and I go, oh, wow, look at how many of these hours that I have. And I'm like, and for me, like basically working 2 full-time jobs and then my business, like that was huge for me to be like, look at how many hours I actually have once you map it out. But I also don't take those off my call calendar. So if somebody wants a discovery call, or I have like a really inexpensive little clarity call that I offer, if they want one of those in that time frame, I'm going to meet with them. If there's a chance to sell something or get paid for something, I will take it. It's sacred time in that I'm not going to take a meeting with the college, or I'm not going to, like be dragged into some vaccine clinic event or whatever. That's my time for my business. But I also am perfectly willing to meet with someone and sell something during that time.
Because like, I know what my conversions are. Like, I know that a paid coaching call, I know what that pays out. I know that I book 50% of what I take in discovery calls, partially.
Me too.
Like, those are too valuable for me to say, oh, nope, not till next week, and actually push people out 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I will have no business left if I do that.
Yeah.
So
and I do mine
also,
all on paper too. So it's not like I don't lock my availability, because like I'm here. Like
and the strategies and the techniques are very good. I understand. I don't have kids. That is a very different set of sacred time. I'm taking it off my calendar today. Like, it's very good for me to have like carved out work hours, like from 10 to 5, they're carved out as work hours. And it's really good for me to keep working. And for me to have more like social and be able to like do laundry, clean the kitchen, do all of those things, that I pop those in not work hours. And it's also helped me keep on track to say, oh no, it's 3:30. I shouldn't be doing dishes right now. That's very good. But I don't have a nap time that I can only do work in.
Right.
I don't have pickup every day at 3 o'clock that I have to stop working for.
Right. Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
very different. So the tactics are very good. But after doing like 3 weeks of that, I'm like, I can't function like this. Well, also, I'm very overwhelmed that there's all that stuff on my calendar.
Yeah. See, and I love it. Like, I literally, if you look at this was this week. So pink is anything that was business that was scheduled. My purple is my sacred time, but you can see like all my purple blocks are empty because I don't know what to do. but they're there. Like, I know I have the time. And then my yellow is college time and pink is vaccine clinic time and whatever. But I love to see it all mapped out and be like, okay, where am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to be doing? How much time do I have? Like, that's been invaluable to me. In fact, I shared that with my accountability buddy that I'm in another like accountability group with. And I was like, okay, here's what we're doing. We're coming back in 2 weeks and we're going to talk about how we managed our time.
So some of it's been very good. Like, when she said it, she's like, okay, Friday at 5 o'clock, close everything out for next week. And I'm like,
see, and I just took that just a step back. It's all closed in terms of I know where my hours are.
Yes.
But like, if I have Monday, I'm pretty wide open all afternoon. That's all going to be purple sacred time. But again,
you can put stuff in on top of that.
Exactly. And if a client needs me, a client needs me. Like, we'll jump into those times. I have one right now. So she's pretty much, she says jump and I say, how high would you like me to jump? Because it's fine. She's adorable.
Because it's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, if I won't close myself off to sales calls, like that's never happening.
No way. Like, thinking about it like 2 days ago, I'm like, I haven't had a call. Huh. I haven't had a call
Interesting.
because I'm closing myself off to that. And I understand. Sure. Am I closed to new work? Not right now. I could take a project that starts next week, but I know no one's ready for that.
Right.
Like, I have no problem saying my next availability to do a build is April or May, or that it looks like I'm going to take the whole month of October off.
Right.
Like, I have no problem saying those things. I have no problem making people wait. I have people who are building their stuff that have already deposits paid. All they've said is, if you get, because it's 2 new projects a month, that's it. If you are ready, you can say so. And since you paid your deposit, I will tell you that I'm extending options to someone else in April. Do you want them?
Mm-hmm.
And give you the first right of refusal.
Right.
So there's all sorts of things. You have to figure out what works for you. And for me, like, I can't. I just can't.
Right. No, and then like I'm with you. Like, I'm looking at my contract at the college ending in June. I need to start making sales now.
Mhm.
And I need to start, getting that momentum built up so that that's 8K a month. That's
Yeah.
gone
When
out of my life.
So when we talk in my group on the 1st, when
Mhm.
you say sales, are you talking about course sales, or are you talking about like one-on-one done with you work where you help people build up their courses?
So the only product that I offer right now, the only offer that I have is a boot camp program where it's very, very hands-on group coaching program where we work together for 12 weeks and get something built, get the content built.
Okay. What's the cost of it?
1997 is probably what we're gonna, and I'm happy. Like, I could even offer a deal for your, like a coupon for your folks.
Offer it in the group.
Yeah. I'm going back and forth about whether I want to re-offer my kind of set it and forget it course, because people want that price point, but I just don't think it's as effective. I don't think you can be as successful without
there's
my
no
feedback.
hands-on behind it.
I mean, it's set to sell at $397. It's basically all the content that comes in the boot camp, just know me.
Okay. So what if you did $397 for the one,
Mm-hmm.
no Tracey, and then offer one review session with feedback, homework, if you want to call it homework,
Mm-hmm.
for plus 200?
That could work. I could even do literally 2 if they were groupish calls. I could do 2, like
2 30-minute, 2 45-minute review calls. What do you normally sell those for? Or you don't normally sell them?
I don't normally sell them. No, I offer a strategy call, a 40-minute strategy call for $397, but that's for somebody who is not interested in working with me. They just want to, like, talk through, like, what should I offer? What should it look like? They're not going to pay me to help them build it necessarily. And if they do, then I wrap that $397 into the cost of the boot camp if they decide to come through. But that's just me saying, okay, here's what I think you should build. Here's how I think you should structure it. Here's what your outline's going to look like. I mean, it's pretty intensive for that. I don't get many people that want to do that.
That was my next question. How many of those do you sell?
Yeah.
So I would almost do go on your own with an one-time upsell of add your post course, blah, 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 for 200, 300, or whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Get on a call with Tracey. We'll review it live. You'll send it to me before. I'll review it. We'll talk about it. You go on your way, kind of thing. Then in the group, in that course, put a paid calendar spot for people to buy it if they don't take the upsell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that.
So you're not telling them they don't get it. You're telling them your time is valuable and your expertise is valuable, and you will absolutely review their program for them.
Mm-hmm.
What do you use? What do you use for a calendar scheduler?
Book Like a Boss.
I don't know that one, but what I do when people prepay for calls with Acuity is I give them a coupon code. The coupon code is their last name. Guess how many people are going to forget what their coupon code is? 0. So then they just get the same calendar link as everybody else and say, when you're ready, Scotten is your code. They never forget it.
That's a great plan. Yeah, I did that when I first launched the program. I think it was $297, and then it was $597 if you wanted the VIP level, which included, I don't even remember what.
Yeah.
And I think one way to do that, like I think there's 2 ways to think about it. One, either they can schedule for $200 more, they could schedule one-on-one call with me, or I could give them like 4 coupons to get into my normal boot camp Q&A calls, which happen weekly. Yeah. So the boot camp, the beautiful thing about it is all the content's all pre-recorded. A lot of my people don't need it. Like they don't necessarily have to go through the ideal client exercises and all that stuff. So like they pick and choose what they want, but we meet every week at a set time to talk through, and I limit it to only four people maximum in each call. So if I need to make another time frame, so I spend 2 to 3 hours a week, helping them through their things, and it's beautiful. Yeah. And if I could get 10 people into that program every single month and spend 3 to 4 hours a week serving them, I would come and live in Florida and hang out with you on a regular basis, because yay.
So let me ask you a question. Can I buy into your weekly bootcamp masterminds if I'm not a student?
So be more specific. So if you just wanted to come in the calls.
If I just want to be a part of the calls, I'm not a bootcamp student.
Would
it even make sense?
Probably not.
Okay.
No, because a lot of times, I mean, if you come in and you're like, I'm really not clear on who my ideal client is, I'm going to say, did you do the ideal client exercise?
You're wasting everyone else's time in the call.
Exactly. Okay. And I'll send you back to do that and then say, okay, I want you to Voxer me after you've consumed that. Tell me, if you still have questions or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So yeah, maybe not that one, but definitely do the low cost program with the option to buy review time with you. Give them 1 or 2, tell them they can book it whenever they want. I sell, this might be dirty or shitty or crappy, I don't care. For Black Friday, I do discounted coaching calls, and they're good for a year. And if you don't book them, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember you talking about that. Like somebody saying that they didn't do it. And then they were like, was it that the one that you had the chargeback on?
No, that stupid woman.
Oh,
never heard from her again.
Well, good.
I thought it was the water bill.
Yeah.
Nope. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You actually thought you were going to slide a fast one by.
Right. Oh, now can I still get the special price? No.
No, I sent her, I'm like, here, you can book on my calendar. What I actually should have done was told her she could mail me a check. And once the check clears 10 days later, then.
Yeah. I'll take a money order, a cashier's check. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Go away, Karen.
Yeah, I like that idea though. Because the content itself is great. It's great. But I think what people in my bootcamp pay for is me. Yeah. And being able to say, okay, your objectives aren't specific enough. And, like all of that hands-on stuff. I think that's 99% of what they're paying for, not necessarily all my pre-recorded content.
Yeah. So. And I can certainly send people to you because I hear it all the time. Like, oh, I'm going to do this thing. And I say, okay, what's your list size? Do you have proof of concept? Do you have all of these things done? Have you sold this before? And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, here's the bill.
Right.
I don't think this works. I don't think it converts. I think this is a massive waste of time. They're like, here's the money, do it anyways.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. I just bought Thrivecart in January or December, maybe even, and have been meaning to set up my freaking affiliate programs because I have Brittany Dixon, who's been one of my biz besties for years and years and years, who sent me like 80% of my business that I've gotten over the last 4 years, who will promote me to anybody, but of course wants to get something back. And I'm just like, la, 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 and I just don't do it. So I could in my Sunday sacred time, I could get my affiliate program built out and then get that stuff over to you so that you have a way to say, hey, like if you need the content built, here's 2 ways you can go about getting it done.
Mhm.
And then of course you're compensated for sending
Well,
them
I
my
would,
way.
I would love it and appreciate it. However, I don't need it. I love referring to people who are like heart forward and genuine and do good work and that I can wholeheartedly stand behind. I don't need a kickback from it.
Well,
Partially because I don't do that myself. Like I want people to genuinely recommend and pass on.
we can certainly make it unofficial and say like, you send
I'll buy
business to
dinner
me.
next time we're together.
You
Yes,
send business to me and I'll fly your ass up to Minneapolis this summer when it's nice here.
yes,
And
and
we
we'll go
could
hang
spend a
out
weekend doing,
at the lake.
fun things.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yes, those kind of things, but I don't need that from, I'm grateful for it. And I love when those numbers come in. And actually that's my entire investment strategy right now is anything I get from affiliate kickbacks comes back and goes right into the investment account.
Sweet.
Which is an entirely stupid process, but the guy who does the investments for my dad has done very, very well for my dad. So I'm able to be under him in JP Morgan Chase.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him, I probably should have done this. I'm like, what's the minimum like buy-in with you now? And he goes, oh, 2.5 million. And I'm like, I'm going to send you like $300 a month, right? But there's no easy way for me to transfer money into Chase. So it's just this whole like, I put it in an account and then once a year I transfer it to him and it takes 3 weeks and it's the biggest pain in the butt. So it's called the This Is Dumb account.
Excellent. I am just working through Profit First, and I'm at my wit's end trying to find a bank that will let me have like more than 2 accounts at one time.
Chase.
So I'm like,
Chase.
I don't have a Chase near me. Can I do them all online?
Do you need a physical bank for any reason?
No,
Yes.
but because my business account it's one of the ones that Profit First actually lists PNC Bank, who I hate them because they're awful, but they won't let me have a second checking account. That I can have a checking.
I probably have 10 accounts at Chase.
Okay, fair, good to know. So I can do it all online then.
I think so.
Okay, I will go look. I have their credit card, so it's only.
I can't imagine why not. I love my Chase account, other than the fact that I have to do this dumb thing to get the money to my investor.
Cool.
It sounds like I'm speaking all hoity-toity. There's really nothing there.
My investment.
My investment banker.
I have something similar, but it's Acorns. And they take a percentage of my deposits every week and put it into an account, because when I was going through my divorce 13 years ago, it's Friday. I was like, why? Speaking of divorces, why hasn't my kid gotten up? It's Friday. He works nights, so he doesn't usually, he's up and out at 2. And I've been waiting this whole time for the door to open and he hasn't come through. Because when I was going through my divorce 13 years ago, I got half of his 401k and then my 401k and then lived on it for 2 years because we weren't getting any child support or any help at all. So now I'm 49 years old and like, okay, let's invest for the future. Shit.
Best day to do it is today.
Well, absolutely. And, that's why I'm dead set that like we'll create this business model and it should carry itself. I mean, unless something majorly unforeseen happens, I don't need to retire. So that's the plan.
It should be a good one. Everybody and their freaking mother wants to create a thing. I've got 10 signups for your chat on the first, and I haven't even put it out to my list yet. So
sweetness. I keep going back and forth that like I'm not doing what I should be doing, or like there are too many people doing this. And I just got 2 requests this week from people who wanted to join my group who are instructional designers and do something very similar to what I do. And I'm always like, I don't know, do I let them in? Do I not let them in?
Let them in until they do something they're not supposed to do, and then you kick them out.
Yeah, that's kind of been my strategy. Like as soon as they get spammy, then it's like,
as soon as they start, like I haven't gotten anything in a while. I'm like, if someone messages you something, I want to know about it, because in my rules, this is not baseball. You do not get 3 strikes. If you message somebody, if you even post like, I'm available to work, I'm deleting you.
Yeah.
I don't eat. So until they do something, like I wouldn't let one of the Kartra admins in my group. I didn't even message him and tell him no. I'm like, nope, nope. I have a safe space for people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a safe space for me.
Well, that's just it. Like there's one gal in my group and she doesn't do courses necessarily, but she sort of like dabbles in there. And I had to turn on post approval for her. And her posts they're not spammy, but some of them are really like
they're
really riding that line.
Yeah.
And so there's just some of them I just don't approve. And I appreciate her because she does create engagement. Like she's in there like stirring things up and she is getting engagement, but every once in a while, just the topic of her post, I'm like, we're not going to share this one. And then a few days later, she'll post something different. It's like that. It doesn't phase her. So she can stay for now. But I've also had a couple of people being like, oh, somebody asked a specific course creation question. And then somebody jumped in and goes, I'd love to help you with this. I do blah, 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 blah. And I was like, boink.
Hi.
Yep. See ya, honey.
Yeah. Nope. You're not doing that. You can do that in other groups. You can't do that in my group.
Right.
And you know what? Honestly, I've made a business out of doing that in other people's groups when it's allowed.
Right. Well,
I've also been kicked out of people's groups for doing that.
I have built my list to whatever it is, like 2,000 some people now. It's purely by promoting in other people's groups where promos are allowed. Like that is my entire strategy. I've got 12, 14 groups a day that I just throw this same post in and I'm growing my list by 5, 6, 7, 8 people every day. And it's working. Now I just have to show the F up and get rid of the freaking imposter syndrome about like, there's somebody better to do this than me and I shouldn't do it. So did you see my post that I put in the Marketer's Heart group?
In the big group?
That Julie posted on? It was in regards to like the business assessment and is your business model the one that you want it to be or whatever? And I was like, I don't have any question about my model. I love my program. I said, my thing is, I just always feel like I got on the wrong train and I should tuck and roll and get off now versus later. And I posted a picture of a panda.
Oh, yes.
I posted the gif of the panda and Julie came back. She goes, something tells me you'll feel like a totally different panda in 12 months. Like didn't address my whole like mindset problem. Just you're going to feel like a different panda at the end of this thing. Panda.
I struggle a lot with mindset. I struggle with the person who thinks I've dismissed it from my brain. The person who thinks I've stolen my business from her.
Yes.
I struggle with the fact that I might want to rename my business because Pineapple Relations tells no one what I do. However, Danielle is the Kartra coach. So I feel like I would be roasted alive if I changed it to anything remotely, even in the field.
Right.
People love the name Pineapple Relations. It makes people so happy. Everyone comments on it. It makes people smile.
Well, I
don't want to get rid of something that people smile about, but I didn't create the business knowing that I would be doing Kartra.
Right. Well, I think Pineapple Relations, also, the visual that people get, like it says tropical, it says hospitality, it says welcome, it says all the things. I think you just need a little catchphrase to throw underneath it that says Pineapple Relations, where we do this for you.
Yeah, I have it. It's on the website. I forget what it is. It's my elevator pitch that I missed. Then I'm not watching that painful video.
Right.
I'm like, I'm not gonna watch this. The welcome session.
Oh yeah.
I'm not watching that.
I'm behind. I haven't done the vision one yet. I've got a bunch of the other stuff that I need to get. I need to get through. I need goals, man. I like me and my empty boxes. Like I need to know what I'm doing.
I struggle in a lot of ways. Like it's like I'm terrified that I have nothing new on the calendar. I'm terrified that when I complete this project next week that I have nothing going in replacement of it. Like all of those little things, but there's so much good that I could be doing also. I don't need to worry about it yet. I'll worry about it. And it always comes through every single time. Every time I worry about it, somebody comes through today or tomorrow. Someone will have an emergency. Somebody will need something. Sherry will pay her bill.
Yep.
My sweet, sweet, sweet client bought 10 coaching calls on my sale and used her last one on Tuesday. And she's like, we're all out. I'm like, if you want to buy 10 more, I'll give you the same rate. And she's like, yes.
Please pay
Please pay.
now.
Please pay that.
I know. I keep thinking I want a membership. This is probably a good thing. I know.
You don't.
And because I want people to pay me every month. Like, I want that. I want to know that I'm getting this every month. And I did one for a short period of time. I had 5 people in there, but it occurs to me that that was my low ticket offer. Like, if you don't want to work with me and you want to like slow play it, fine, pay me $47 a month and be in this membership. But they're never going to finish, and
they're ever going to finish.
Like,
I had 2 cancellations to my membership come through this week. But, yeah, 2 cancellations this week, which was harder than I expected it to be, because that leaves me with like $110 a month coming in monthly. It's a ton of work. I hate doing it. My whatever Launch Gorgeous is relaunching my program as a single pay. $147, get everything in it immediately. Money back guarantee, all the stuff I don't do currently.
Yeah.
And I just got to figure out what I'm going to do with the people that have paid more than that.
Yeah. And I guess that's where I should be too. Cause I basically drip out all of my recorded content over the course of however much time.
Yeah. I don't even drip it. I just give you full access to everything because I don't even care. Like, it was built for my clients as an educational vault after our project was built.
Okay.
And then somebody was like, you should charge for this. I'm like, sure, $30 a month. And now I hate it.
Well, there you go.
Nothing like, oh, it's the 18th. I have not recorded any videos for March. Because Genius over here said new content every month.
Yeah, see, and I never said that. I'm like, nope, you'll get everything you need to build your course dripped out over time.
Yeah.
With focused assignments every month, but I don't review them. Like, you don't get any part of me in there.
Yeah.
Like Q&A call. I guess there's a monthly Q&A call when I did mine, but nobody shows up for it. So
I have and then I raised the price to 37. I raised it to 40. I felt that was too high. Then I backed it down to 37. And with a monthly office hour calls that no one shows up to. And then after Marketer's Heart, I forgot to email the list about it. So I just opened it to everyone. And I'm like, office hours, everyone's invited this time.
Nice. If you like this, then get into the membership. Yeah, it's important to like what you do.
People paying at least $99 a month to have Kartra, they're not going to pay $37 a month to have recorded videos. Also, Kartra's redoing all of their training stuff, so I might have to. Their training is terrible. Their support's terrible.
Most of every platform, their training is terrible and not specific and refers to things that don't exist anymore. Like, I was trying to get set to stream to Facebook Wednesday with Elisa, and I went and pulled up the directions in Zoom, and like none of the buttons that you're supposed to push are even the same buttons anymore. And that's one of my big pet peeves. I tell people all the time, if you're teaching Facebook ads, you need to update your shit every time something changes with Facebook. Like, you need to, make sure that you're constantly on that. So when the platform itself doesn't stay on it, that's upsetting.
Yeah. So.
All right, girl.
All right, I got to get off of here. I got an hour before I got to be somewhere else. I got to go fix my mom's house. That's project number a day.
Oh.
Her house flooded. Did I tell you that right before market start?
No.
Yeah, so I got voluntold I'm the project manager for having it put all back together. And the best part is she doesn't have enough insurance.
Heck.
Review your homeowner's insurance policies, people. Make sure you have enough coverage.
Yeah. And flooding is almost never included, is it? Unless you
This
live in a
would have,
floodplain.
this was a pipe burst.
Okay.
It was not outside water coming in, it was inside water, so it would have been included, but I think 20 years ago after she got divorced, she freaked out at her homeowner's insurance policy and told them, I can't afford it. You need to give me something I can't afford. And she was paying $500 a year to have $2,000 worth of property damage.
Icky.
She has no coverage. She has basically nothing.
Yeah, that's awful.
So she's a very negative person.
She should be my mother.
Naturally. So it's really hard because I have great builders that I really love. And I can't take them to her because she will be so mean to them that I will ruin my relationship with them.
Right.
Because of that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's my day today and tomorrow and all of next week.
I'm so sorry.
But it's not going to get done. Like, I know it's cold in Minnesota. It's 83 degrees here. It's humid.
It's actually fairly nice here. It's been 50-ish for the last few days. So the snow's all melting and revealing the dog poop in the backyard.
Oops.
Mm-hmm.
So, but she doesn't run the air conditioning. And like on my calls with, and it's really essential that you run the air conditioning here because it's too humid and then there's already water in the house and there's water everywhere. So the air conditioning actually helps control the humidity in the house.
Right. And the formation
mold.
of mold. Yeah.
So like 3 days, you need to turn the air conditioning on. It's really nice out. You need to turn the air conditioning on. You need to have movement of air. Like, do not let me show up to this house with builders and you not be running the air conditioning.
Right.
So.
Ick. Well, I don't envy you that, but I will see you in 2 weeks.
Yes, in my group. I'm like, what's happening in 2 weeks? What do I not know about?
2 weeks. And
yeah, I'll pop in and see if there's any questions, and then I'll jump back in. I'll see what happens. I'll be tagged in them. I'm in the post, so I'll see them.
Yeah, and if there's something that you don't look at or whatever, I can always tag you in it too. But yep, no worries.
Awesome, sounds great. Thank you so much. This was so much fun.
So much fun. It was good to see your face.
Awesome. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye.